is an old friend. He's been here many times over the 17 years we've been in operation. Dr. Penguin. Dr. Penguin's new magic show, Bingo the Magical Dog, is based on an animated character created by his artistic and autistic son. Thanks, Red. It's all right. I'm used to hecklers, and I know where to tell them to go, to the far queue. He will talk about what it is like to co-create with a son who has Asperger's. So please welcome Dr. Penguin, the ringmaster, magician, comedian and MC. Dr. Penguin has performed all over the planet, even the world. From the Olympics, Paralympics in Beijing, to rock shows, festivals and royal events. So please welcome Dr. Penguin. He's brought all this baggage with him.
Get a chair.
Chair, yes. A chair, yes. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for having me here today. I have to apologize for my appearance. I was at the Barapa Bike Week Festival last night, and well, this morning, and I kind of almost came straight from there to here, so I'm still a little bit, I got a bit of dirt on me a little bit. But anyway, I want to thank you very much for having me here. And what I wanted to do was to discuss a new project we're doing. It's actually called Bingo's Magic Circus, starring Bingo the Magical Dog. Now, the reason behind this is I wanted to do something for my son. And my son is autistic. He has Asperger's syndrome, and he also has what they call level 1 autism. When he was diagnosed with this, he was in the United States going to school. And he'd always painted and drawn. I mean, you could always tell how far he could reach because every wall in our house was painted or drawn on. And it would only reach so high as far as he could reach, but he was very good at it. And he was published in like Sesame Street magazine and quite a few things when he was just very little, like 3 or 4 years old. So I've always encouraged the arts. However, when we were living in Bangkok, suddenly the prices for international schools just zoomed. They went from 60,000 baht to 1 million baht. With 2 kids in school, it was just impossible for me to pay that. So I came up with a plan with my sister, who's a doctor living in San Diego area at the time, and a very good school nearby in Ramona. So we sent both kids over to go to school. Well, they tested my son for some reason. I didn't really notice anything different about him. I mean, he is very, he was sociable, but he wasn't that sociable. But he really enjoyed drawing. So as a test, they forced him to stop drawing. They took away his drawing tools, and then he freaked out. And so that's when they did all this testing. And then they informed me, and I was very upset because I said, why did you stop him from doing something he loves? Of course he's going to freak out. And then they told me, they sent me all this paperwork and all the tests, and they said, well, your son has autism, and he's Asperger's syndrome, and he get violent if he's, taken away from this sort of thing. And I was blown away. Didn't know anything about it. So I started doing lots of research, and they said it's probably best if we send your son back to you because he can't really survive in this environment. And I said, why? And they said, because, well, number one, he can't lie. And I was like, huh? What do you mean he can't lie? I mean, he's been taught not to lie. Both kids were taught not to lie. They said, no. You have to understand, in social situations, people always say, how are you, or whatever. You look good today or something. He can't do that. He doesn't see a reason for lying. He just tells the truth. He's also very, if you tell him to do something, he does it to the letter. So I sent him back, and I was at that time living in Shanghai, and I hired a really cool artist, somebody I knew very well, Antonio Sevilla, who's a quite famous artist from Spain, to tutor him and teach him how he wanted to do puppets. So they started doing, my whole apartment became a puppet theater. And he was doing lots of great art, and he spent the next couple of years, few years, learning art from Antonio and other artists as well. And his work was great. I loved it, and I couldn't see any problem with it. But I did notice things, like when I sent him out to the gourmet supermarket to buy a few things, I said, buy this particular brand of yogurt. He disappeared for 8 hours. And I was going nuts. Where is he? Came back 8 hours later. He had been to every gourmet supermarket in Shanghai, spent a couple $100 to look for that one brand of yogurt. So I realized, oh, you gotta be really careful what you say. You gotta be so careful. You gotta say things like, if they don't have it, forget about it. So he takes things to the letter. Now he's improved a lot. I was told it would be impossible. And I went to several conferences. I started getting into this. I went to the US to a conference with parents just like me, who also have kids that are in the same boat. And interestingly enough, if they follow something that they love doing, like art or music, they become really good at it because they're very focused. And many of them are borderline geniuses or geniuses. So I wanted to do something for him, and I've been doing magic comedy shows my whole life, pretty much, and television. And he went through a bad time. We live here on the beach. Our neighbor had given him a dog that was born there named Pumpui. And then when the neighbor moved away, decided that he wanted to take the dog back. This is after a few years. And my son, Ollie, kind of flipped. He was like, I could see he was regressing. He was going back inside himself. He wasn't talking to anyone. So we went looking for a dog. And a friend of mine in Chiang Mai, wonderful lady named Marianne, who has a wonderful project up there, taking care of all kinds of animals, from elephants to bears, everything. She found a puppy in the forest, and he just came running up to her. And when she saw it, she said, this is a clown dog, it belongs to the penguin. And so she called us, and after a month of taking care of the dog and nurturing him, send him down. Well, Bingo has become, that's Bingo, my son actually, and our bird. Her name was Six. They became very close and became his muse, and he started doing drawings about Bingo and all these great cartoons. And I post them all the time on Facebook, and he's got a big following actually now. He's got a huge following. So I decided that it's time to do something new, and came up with this idea of doing Bingo's Magic Circus. So we're not actually using the real dog. We're using somebody who's actually an artist in a dog costume that looks like Bingo. And we also have a bear costume. And we have other artists that are coming. Richard Hanley, who's a great puppeteer from London. We have Erica Xiao. I don't know if I brought her here before. She's Chinese, beautiful girl, does incredible magic. She's born in a magic family and has grown up doing magic her whole life. And there's quite a few other artists are coming in, musicians and stuff. And we're going to be performing at the Royal Garden Plaza from April 1st to April 16th, 4 shows a day. It's a total family show, children's show. It's a test to see what happens. We want to see if we can push Bingo, the character, and if we can get the comic book going and all this. So I'll show you this. The bird, Six, is a bird that he found, my son found. It had fallen from the nest, hadn't opened his eyes or anything, and he nurtured the bird. And that bird hung around with him for over a year, wouldn't let him go anywhere without her. And she's very, very pushy. She'd steal croissants from the table. She's quite funny. And she and Bingo had the most amazing relationship together. So he did also cartoons about the two of them. And I don't know if you're familiar with these big lizards that we have here. They're not dragons, what are they called? They're quite big, 2-3 meters. And we have one that's named Charlie, lives in the front, and for some reason likes to come and steal Bingo's food, and Bingo chases him, and it's kind of a funny scene. And there's more animals that have come into it. So he's done a whole bunch of cartoons about that. So now what we want to do is mix magic and the artwork. I got the clicker right here. What am I doing? Okay. And that's with Six the bird when she was about, I think 3-4 months. She became very attached to him. Now she has babies of her own. She went through 3 mates. The first one she dumped. The second one dumped her. And the third one she seems to get along with, although he doesn't go big frazzle because she likes to talk a lot. And they have a nest just up at the top of our house. It's kind of funny. So that's Bingo at 6 for Happy Cinco de Mayo. They have a real, he captures the character of the animals and the people. Bingo chasing 6 after she stole a croissant, a bit like Roadrunner. And she loves, of course, splashing, cleaning herself in his water dish. She has her own dish and her own bath, but she insists on doing it in his dish. And she's the only bird that he allows to do that. The pigeons try it, he chases them, or whatever, but it's pretty funny. And, you know, just he's doing these cartoons about the two of them. And it's built into a kind of a following. We have a lot of people that have contacted us. That's with me, obviously. And even some merchandising people. And they're starting to do merchandising in Japan and in Sweden. So we'll see how that goes. 6 in her punk band. And that's her boyfriend. Poor guy. I felt sorry for him. He had to leave eventually. She's really become a muse for Ollie. What's interesting about all this is he's mixed things with pop art and other things, and he's managed to continue. He also now communicates with people more. All the things they told me that couldn't happen, he's doing. So he can handle a lot of things. There's still things he'll never be able to do. I mean, with money, if I send him to 7-Eleven and he comes back and I say, how much did you spend? He can't tell me. But if you ask him the square root of something, you know, with the distance of the moon, he can tell you in seconds. So he figures things out. Yeah, and they're great. And she also cheats at backgammon. Yeah, she's always stealing stuff or whatever. So a New Year party, that was 6 afterwards. She also likes to drink. And she thinks she's something of a beauty. So I think that's that. All right. Okay. So what I wanted to do is to show you a video as well, something that we worked together on, a couple of them. And the first one is called Melted Me, a director from the US, Frank Costantini, who's done a lot of big Super Bowl commercials, that kind of thing. He came over to do this one. can stop. Yeah, okay, thank you. So that was never actually released because we never really could do the ending that we wanted to do. We wanted to blow up the building, but couldn't do it. But Ali did a lot of the artwork. He did most of it, in fact. He did the cartoon bit and all that, so that was really interesting. So what I thought I'd do is, while I'm here, do a little bit of demonstration of some of the magic we're doing. Okay. Let's see. I think I've done this before here. All right. What I have here is a deck of cards. And normally I would make them invisible, but in fact what I'm going to do is ask somebody just to hold them, somebody I can trust. How about Dr. John? Would you mind just holding this box? Just hold it above your head like so. Now I need a volunteer out there. Somebody who's, that I don't know would be nice. How about back there? Anyone? Gentleman there with a beard, sitting down? How about you, sir? Right there. No? Okay, yeah, how about you? You can do it from there if you like, or if you want to come up, it's also up to you. All right. I want you to think, all right, of one card out of 52 cards. Could be any card you want, no jokers, just the 52 cards. Think of a card. You have it in your mind? All right. I want you just to concentrate on that card. Can you feel the card? No, you don't feel anything. Anything changing inside the box?
No.
Nothing. What's your name, sir?
John.
John? I want you to name that card loudly so everybody can hear you.
7 of hearts.
The 7 of hearts. You're sure? You can change your mind if you want to. Now, we don't know each other. I didn't ask you to pick that card. And the doctor here and you don't know each other, do you? No, okay. Would you mind handing me the box and we'll just open them up? Cards out. Do it from here. When you see, it's hard to do without the mic, okay. When you see an upside down card, I want you just to yell, scream, bite, whatever. There's one upside down card in the deck. Would you please pull it out? Turn it over, please. Yeah, okay.
Wow.
And that's why I don't gamble. And I'm not allowed in casinos. Unless I'm working. I'm also looking for a volunteer, somebody who I don't know. You're from Hong Kong, is that correct? Would you mind coming up for just a moment? If you don't mind, come on up. This way? Right here? Oh, okay. Is that difficult to manage? I can also come over there. Okay, wonderful. Now, do you mind holding my balls for me? All right. Can you stand with your 2 hands out? Is that possible? Okay, great. Can I take that? All right, good. Give it back to you. All right, I've got 2 balls here. These are my big balls. What's your name?
Lisa.
Lisa. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a big round of applause for Lisa. Who really came up here. One ball in each hand. Now, the one in your right hand is Amui. The one on the left is Ati. Okay? Amui and Ati. When I count to 3, Amui and Ati will change places by themselves. Either that or they'll explode. 1, 2, 3. How about that? They changed places. Thank you. You feel the difference, Lisa? You feel anything? No? I'll do it again. I'll take this one, place it in my left hand just here. You take that one, put a nice tight fist. Don't let it go anywhere. Hold it very tight. Keep this hand open. All right. Now, when I count to 3, I'm going to throw this ball to that hand. I want you to catch it. Ready? 1, 2. Oh. Lisa, would you shake your right hand up and down, please? Oh, you do that very well. Okay, you've done this before, I can tell. If you don't mind, just blow on it. Put both hands together and open your hands. Oh, you've got both my balls in your hand. After coming up here, you get a beautiful walking stick. How about that? This is a trick I bought from buddy Jim Jones over there. He sold this to me for 10,000 baht, my first time or second time to do this. So Jim, you have to correct me if I do it wrong, okay? Now, he's a good man. I'm sure that it's worth every penny. I have a bottle of beer and a paper bag. When I count to 3, this bottle of beer would turn invisible right before your very eyes. 1, 2. Am I doing this right, Jim? Let me do it again. Okay. Put the bottle in the bag. 1, 2, 3. Hey! And it's turned invisible. How about that? Good one, right?
Jim, put like the context turn.
Yeah, he's already done that. Bring it back. 1, 2, 3, and amazing. The bottle's back. It doesn't look like that went down too well, Jim. You know, now that I think about it, it's not a very good trick. I think I want my money back. Let me try it one more time. Bottle, back. 1, 2, and... You know what? Okay. Now here's something that I also learned in Soy 6. You might have recognized that in the video. You know, because I had to go on a very special diet. And so my doctor put me on what they call a balloon diet. Not very tasty, but you do lose weight. Oh, not that one. The sun gets the balloons. Maybe too much partying last night. I don't know. All right. There we go. That didn't work either. I'm gonna run out of balloons soon. Let's see. Made in America. It's supposed to be, you know, extra big. So they said. All right, let's try this one. If not, we'll work on another one. What the heck's going on with balloons? Well, you know what? Let's just forget about that one. And let's work on a much more interesting trick. Actually, what I'd like to do is to show you how to make money.
Yes.
No, it's my favorite trick, actually. You know, how to change a 100 baht note into a 1,000 baht note. This is a great trick, it really is, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. To do this, though, I need to borrow 100 baht from somebody. Anybody who has 100 baht out there? You got 100 baht over there, anybody? Trust me, I'm a doctor. Ah, here we go, this gentleman.
Oh, Alan, you're bright.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, say goodbye to your money. I need a volunteer, somebody brave. How about this gentleman here? You want to come up? All right. He's big and strong. Okay, what's your name, sir?
Chris,
Chris. And where are you from?
England.
England, so you came all the way from England to see this show.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Now, you know, we have a tradition in magic that when we're going to teach you a trick, you have to wear a magic hat. So I happen to have one. Somewhere here. Here we go. And this is a very special hat. Gives you many magic powers. Well, it looks good, actually. It makes you a little more handsome, I think. All right. Chris, I want you to put your right hand out like that. Very good. I want you to take this 100 baht note and hold it in a nice tight fist and say the magic words, namini namanao. Okay?
Yep.
I'm going to step over here so you can see everything. There's 100 baht. I want you to put that in a nice tight fist. Say namini namanao.
Namani Namana.
Very good. You speak Thai then. Excellent. How long have you been here?
10 years.
10 years. So you speak perfect Thai now. Excellent. Now hold that nice tight fist. Don't go anywhere. Shake your hand up and down. He's definitely done this before. Okay. Keep shaking. All right, you can move around a little bit. Say namani namana.
Namani Namana.
Excellent. Keep going. All right. Now, put your other hand over that one. All right. Open your hand. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have 1,000 baht.
That didn't work. That's the story of my life.
Thank you very much, sir. Oh, wait. About that. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll find it for you. I've got here what we call a money detector. Now, money detectors are very, very special. You can find money anywhere, no matter where you hide it. So you need to just come out a little bit this way. Put both hands up like this, legs apart. This is called Welcome to America these days. If you come to America, this is what you have to do. And we're going to find that money. Yun loy ba. Yun loy ba. Yun loy ba. Yun loy ba. Yun loy. Okay, I know where the money is, but I'm not going down there to get it. I'll tell you what, though. Are there any ladies out there who'd like to unzip them? Just we go in there, pull the zipper down a little bit, and reach in, and we got Cophosis. Looks like 100 baht. Yes, it is. How about that? New Lloyd baht. Congratulations. You did that very well. Stay like that. Don't go anywhere. Thank you very much, sir. Here's your money back. And Chris, you did such a great job. I'd really like for you to just take a bow, and like a proper bow like that. Yeah. And the hat stayed on. Not bad. Pretty good. One more time. We'll bow together. Okay. I got to ask you a question. What is this in your? I couldn't notice this thing sticking out here. Oh. Yeah. The hotel know about this? I mean, really? Yeah. Oh, what's that? I don't want to know. That's really. Is that something I can pull out? Do you mind? Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give a big round of applause to Chris here because he did a good job. He really did. Thank you very much. Late night. Thank you very much. All right. And now I'd like to show you another film. This was very short. It's we call it Teppanyaki Kamikaze, where I tried my best to be a chef. And it didn't work out very well for me, but here it is. like to remind you that Bingo's Magic Circus is performing at the Royal Garden Plaza, which is right off Beach Road, or 2nd Road if you come from the back. It's on the 1st floor. We got a whole section, we're building a theater there, and hopefully it'll go longer than 16 days. The hope of both the Royal Plaza and the Minor Group and us is that it will continue to go on, and we'll bring in other shows as well over the year. It's a kind of a pilot, a test, and we'll see how it goes. And also we give a big portion of our money goes to charity. We sponsor both the soy dogs. We're also sponsoring several orphanages here. We do a lot of work with orphanages. Actually, one of my favorite is the Bamboo School. I don't know if you know about that up in Kanchanaburi. It's a fantastic place. We also sponsor other places. Legacy Group up in Chiang Mai, and there's too many to count. Been doing that most of my life here in Thailand, I think, well, since 1978. How many years that is, I don't know. But anyway, I'll have to ask my son. Thank you very much. I hope that you enjoyed that. If there's any questions or anything. Yes, sir. Get you the microphone.
John, again, thank you very much. I thoroughly enjoy magic. I don't know how it works. I don't want to know how it works, but coincidentally, 2 weeks ago, I had that same card trick performed in front of me. And after a couple of times of just being astounded, I said, okay, I'm going to get this guy. And I whispered a card in another person's ear. And he'd never touched the deck. And it was a card. And I was so shocked that I jumped back off of my chair and fell down.
Oh, no.
I mean, I love magic, so thank you very much and success. Thank you for that second video in particular. I think that's going to be a good series. I just wanted to make a couple observations.
Sure.
One, you mentioned that your son couldn't tell a lie.
Right.
And something that I found out many years ago, probably about 10 years ago, was that they found in studying autistic people that in their prefrontal lobe, they had no white matter. And almost all of us have some white matter, but they found out that no white matter. And they didn't know what white matter was for before. But they also found out that people suffering from psychological phantastica, otherwise known as pathological lying, have up to 20% of white matter between those lobes, and they have a bit almost impossible time to tell the truth. Their brain literally makes up some fiction that they believe is the truth, but it's not. So they now know that white material somehow is connecting between the logical side of the brain and the real side of the brain.
That's really interesting. I did not know that.
I thought you might want to know that because I thought that was...
I knew about white matter not being there, but I didn't know what it was for.
Yeah, so that's what they've determined it's for. It's this connective tissue, and the reason why autistic people can't tell a lie, and pathological liars can't tell the truth. But the other thing I forgot. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you. Anybody else? Questions?
Okay, please thank Dr. Penguin for the most entertaining show. And you're sure welcome anytime. Thank you very much.
Good breakfast. Actually, I wanted to say I really like this venue so much better than the last one.
You can say that again.
Okay, it's true.
You really like this venue?
Oh, it's great. It's a beautiful room.
It is. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.